really appreciate the way that you have been so open with me. You've clearly had a lot of stuff going on in these last few months that you've had to deal with, and it takes a lot of courage to share those things with openness and authenticity, and but that's the first step to healing. And so I really wanted to just tell you how appreciative I am that you have been open and willing to look at these things with me.
Definitely.
I thought that maybe for the remainder of our time today, perhaps we could do some goal setting. What do you think about that?
I think that'd be great.
Awesome. Okay, good deal. Now this is, I want to be sure that we work on this together, and so I'm curious to hear from you as to what do you think the priorities should be? When you look at all the things you've dealt with over these last few months, where would you like to start in your goal setting?
I would definitely say first and foremost, I need to stop drinking. Definitely need to get that behind me. I think if I stop that, a lot of things will clear my way, clear up for me. My second one would definitely be to get a job. That's putting a huge toll on me. My third one would be to get over to grief for my dad. Don't really know kind of how I think I need some kind of support and guidance in that area, and then definitely dealing with the situation with my mom, living with my mom. I need to figure that out because she's definitely on my back about it.
Okay.
I would say those 4 goals definitely are something I would look forward to accomplishing.
That's great. Well, it's clear you've thought about this, and it's great that you know what you want and where we're headed, because that's the only way that we'll get there. So thank you for that. I'd like to speak to each of these 4 concerns that you've mentioned. Each of these in and of themselves, we could take considerable time with. But because they are concerns of yours, before you leave today, I do want to at least briefly touch on each one of them. The first one that you mentioned, well, actually the last one you mentioned was living with your mom. And that in and of itself, that could take some real time to unpack that and look at it and process it. And so because we're not going to have time to go into all 4 of these goals in great depth this week, what I thought we could do, if it's all right with you, is I'd like for you to, this week when you go home, make a list concerning your mother issue. Make a list of the pros of what it would mean to go live with her, and make a list of the cons of what it would mean to go live with her. And this way you'll have kind of a week to ponder over that and come up with the list. And then that way when you come back next week, bring that list with you, and we'll look at and examine that together.
Okay.
Does that sound all right?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. And that way we can have more time next week to give that the full attention that it deserves.
Right.
Okay. Now, regarding the grief over the loss of your dad, I'd also like to kind of touch on that briefly. I think that it's really important that you give yourself permission to grieve, because a lot of that, it's going to take time. I'm curious to know what types of support that you have in your life, what kind of people around you can help you as you go through that difficult process.
Well, I have some friends that I've always been close with, but they've just been so busy lately, you know, especially just this past week I tried to contact them to maybe go get dinner or talk or go take a walk in the park, but and it's not their fault, you know, I mean, we're all busy with our own lives, so they're my kind of support, but I don't have any siblings, so no support there. Let's see. My mom has always been a huge part of my kind of support system in my life. But now that we're kind of going through the same thing, it's hard, you know, to kind of count on her, just because that wouldn't be fair to her. You know, she's grieving her own way, and I need to grieve in my own way. But so yeah, does that give you an understanding?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, it does.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think who else. Just friends, and a lot of them don't live here, so where I live.
Is there anyone else, just take a minute, is there anyone else that you can think of?
Not my ex-boyfriend, he would if he could. No, I can't, but I can also see myself maybe reaching out more towards the people at work, because I don't consider them kind of my friends, but I know, I mean, they're my friends there at work, you know, but I've never really thought about reaching out to them outside of work. Especially since now I lost my job, but I'm sure that they'd still be like open to hearing from me. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I never really kind of considered them to be support systems. So yeah. Who else?
I think that that's really awesome that you have managed to kind of think outside the box there
Yeah.
and come up with an idea.
Definitely, I think that is great. I mean, I just hope that they wouldn't be closed off to like being kind of going to dinner with me or something. I don't think they would be.
Why do you think that that's a concern?
I guess because I've just never done it before.
Okay.
I kind of reached out to them before, and I just don't know, be like, oh, this is, you know, strange or something like that. But I don't think that they would. They were always nice to me at work, and especially now since I did lose my job, I know that if they thought about it in their shoes, you know, since they still have their job there, they would, you know, consider, say, if that was me, if that was them, you know, they're good people. They're nice.
Good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me this, Caitlin. Do you think that by any chance you might be open to attending a grief support group?
Yeah, I would. Are there some such thing?
Yes, absolutely,
Really?
absolutely.
Huh.
They're usually group sessions where people come together, where they're all kind of dealing with grief, and they're
Really?
able to kind of work through that together and support each other and talk it through.
Would it be like all of the people in that support group that their parents are the ones that have passed, or would it be like?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I have a referral I can give you for that,
Okay.
and we can call and find out more. It may be that they have more specific grief support groups, like maybe just for those who have lost a parent versus one where people have lost a spouse or different things like that. So,
Okay.
so I can be sure that before you leave today, I get that referral to you.
Okay. And just because if I start going to them, does that mean I need to stop seeing you, or can I?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's something actually I think would be very complementary to what we're
Okay.
doing here,
Okay,
and we can also talk about kind of the realizations and the processing that you're going through
Okay,
in
great.
that group when we meet.
Definitely, because I really think I need this like one-on-one too. But I'm definitely
Sure.
open to some kind of support group
Okay.
if you think that would help.
I think it would. I
Okay.
think it would, and I appreciate your openness to that, because I think that you'll be surprised at how it will help you. I think sometimes just to be in a situation where other people are going through a similar thing and they
Mhm.
understand, have an understanding of the types of feelings that come up when you're grieving the loss of someone that you love,
Okay.
there can be real a sense of camaraderie and
Mhm.
just strengthen that.
Mhm. Definitely. Okay, great.
Great,
Yeah.
great. Well, I think I'll get that to you before you leave. And
Okay.
okay. So we've touched upon the what we're going to do to kind of process the decision with your mom, which we'll
Mhm.
explore more in depth next week.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the grief support group referral for you to look into.
Okay.
And this week, do you think it's also would you be willing to reach out to a coworker to
Yeah.
get some support there?
Definitely. I
Okay.
can think of one or two that I can reach out to that I have their numbers.
Okay. Well, let's write these down. So the
Okay.
first homework assignment is going to be pros and cons with mom.
Okay.
The second one is going to be call the grief group. And the third thing is to reach out to a coworker. Okay. And then next week when we get together, we can focus on those two goals of the mother decision and the grief. We can delve more in detail in those next week when we have some more time.
Okay.
Okay?
That's fine.
So this week I'd like to focus on the other two goals that you mentioned, just
Okay.
because you said that they were very high on the list of priority.
Mhm.
One being to stop your drinking, and then the other one being to find a job.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So tell me this, Caitlin, how do you feel that one of those issues affects the other?
I definitely think my drinking affects me taking the initiative to start applying for new jobs.
Okay.
Because whenever I come home, all I want to do is have a drink and just relax, as I like to tell myself, which is not really what it should be.
Okay.
And I think it's just affecting how I'm living my life. I'm not getting anything done. I'm not, getting anything done. And I've only applied for one job this past week.
Okay.
And who knows? I mean, I thought about this the other day. I was like, what if maybe my drinking, and I'm not even knowing it, but what if my drinking had something to do with me losing my past job?
Wow. Okay.
So
that's really insightful of you to look at that.
And I know my boss wasn't direct into saying that to me, but it's just, I want to think of it like that because I know that this is a huge thing. My drinking problem it's huge, and I'm tired of telling myself that it's not, because it is. So
I'm really proud of you, Caitlin.
Thanks.
That really is an important step to just put it out there and call it what it is, because if you're in denial, then you're not going to be able to make things better.
Right.
So I really, well done.
Thank you. It felt good. It definitely. I thought about that too, but I guess the last time because I saw you last week, but it just made me really think about that. So.
Okay, good deal. Well, tell me this. So as far as the drinking goes, how long has it been going on? How long has it been an issue?
It started before I lost my job.
Okay.
So maybe 4 or 5 months. Past 4 or 5 months, it really escalated.
Okay. And when did you lose your job?
About 2 months ago.
Okay. So you were actually drinking 2 to 3 months before you lost your job. Okay. And so I'm curious to know, like, whenever you decide that you need a drink, I'm wondering about what thoughts precipitate that, especially if it started before you lost your job, if you can think back, and because they may have been different thoughts back then than what they are now. But what are some of the things that, maybe the emotions that you're feeling, or the thoughts that are going through your head when you start feeling like you need to take a drink?
I guess it comes down to, especially that was around the time that also my dad started to get really sick.
Okay.
So I had just this sadness come over me, as soon as I woke up. And I mean, not that I would. Me having a drink started to get earlier and earlier throughout the day.
Okay.
But it's just my sadness. I would think to myself, like, I don't feel right, or this sadness just starts to come into my head, and I feel like once I have that sip, it just feels better.
Okay. When you tend to drink, how many drinks will you drink?
4 to 5.
Okay. And over how long of a period of time, from the time you start drinking until the time you're done at that time? How long would that be?
Like time frame within that 4 or 5 drinks. I'd say about 2 hours, an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially at this point,
Sure.
An hour.
So really it's become, am I understanding correctly, that maybe in the beginning 4 or 5 drinks was over a longer period of time, and now you're getting to where the drinking's more intense. Okay.
Yeah.
And what have you noticed as far as your thinking and your feeling as you've seen that time period shorten?
I've seen myself rely on it more and more and more, and not even to the point. It started in the beginning because I was sad, and so now it's kind of started because it's just I'm relying on it to go to sleep. I rely on it to go throughout my day. I rely on it to not feel like the feelings that I rely on it to escape my realities right now, especially right now. And I mean, I escape this reality of not having a job to, which is the complete opposite, because it's not helping me get a new job.
Right.
It's not doing anything except giving me a hangover the next day.
Sure. So I'd like to ask you just to kind of sit in those feelings with me for a minute. What are the feelings that you start to feel and that you were really wanting to avoid before you start taking that first drink?
The feelings I want to avoid?
Yes.
Definitely sadness. I feel like this sadness that comes into my head, this grief, you know, not trying to think about my dad, think about things like that. That's when I turn to it. That's how I feel, you know, feeling. Yeah, I just don't want to deal with it. And I feel like alcohol is that way out. That's the only solution that'll make me not think about it.
What else?
Let's see. I guess I escape like the stresses of my mom. I feel like I don't want to, you know, think about that, think about all my realities. It's just overwhelming, and alcohol's. I hate it, but I love it, and you know, it's just I can't live like that anymore.
Sure. So when you start feeling overwhelmed, thinking about your mom, what are some? Can you put those feelings into words?
Yes. So like I guess I think to myself, okay, let me drink, you know, let me just have this drink, and that's how it starts out. But I know that I won't just have one drink, but I'll have a drink because I'm like, okay, let me just drink this, and you know, all my stresses will go away, and they do, but not in the right way. And so yeah, I just think, you know, okay, here, let me have this drink. Here, let me put this away. Let me put all of this away.
So what is the this that you're putting away? Can you put using emotion words?
My depression, my anxieties, my grief, my stresses, my not having a job. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of my feel, like how I feel. Definitely my sadness. That's an overwhelming one for sure. I don't know. I guess just not getting a job either. I need to find a job. That's just stressing me out too. Just alcohol.
So when you think about not having a job, what comes up in you?
Stress, anxiety, fear.
Okay. What is the fear?
Fear that I will not be able to pay my bills, that I will get kicked out of this apartment that I've been in for so long. Fear that my mom will have to help me, who can't even, it's hard for her, you know, who's dealing with all those costs and all those expenses. Fear that I'll, you know, lose kind of some support from her just because, you know, I love my mom, but I don't want her to be dealing with all that and supporting me at the same time, or helping me through this time when we both have other things that we need to be helping ourselves get through. Yeah. I don't know.
Caitlin, you're doing a really great job of putting your feelings into words.
Thank you.
Thank you for going there with me.
Thanks. It's made me feel good to finally communicate it and think about it that way.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So in the past, maybe when you weren't dealing with so many things all at once, when you would feel stressed, did you ever have any coping skills or anything that you would do that would kind of help alleviate some of that stress?
Trying to think back. I did, before all this, I did used to like to exercise.
Okay.
That would definitely help me. I enjoyed going on runs because they would clear my head.
Okay.
And get rid of those kind of stresses. Kind of in the same way alcohol does for me right now, but it's just more, it's less effort.
Yeah.
Effort, you know, so.
Was the running effective?
It was.
Is
Sometimes.
it something you enjoyed?
Not all the time, but it definitely was something I did enjoy because it was, especially at night, I like to take night runs because it would always just clear my head at the end of the day. But that just not, I guess it just became not enough, you know, and that's how I turned to this alcohol, because it really clears my head in not the right way.
Do you have someone that you have run with in the past?
Yes, actually I do. I do have one of my friends. She lives only about 30 minutes away from me, so
okay.
I do.
Do you think that